Tuesday, September the 26th, year of our Lord, 2024. You are watching the Let's Not Do podcast. Big O, Leon Oliver, sitting alongside two of the three unwise men. Look, I'm suffering right now. Okay, it was a rough
Good,
day.
man.
It was a rough day at the old sword factory that I work at. Okay, and some of those
Lots
days
of sword fighting with other dudes.
Yep.
exclusively almost. Some day you're the fly, some day you're the windshield, and some days you look at Chris, and that's what you have to do, but we'll get through it. All
So,
right, boys.
Just for the viewers at home, what's the name of this podcast again?
The Let's Not Do This podcast, which
Okay.
we shouldn't do this podcast. Scotty, how are you, sir?
Not too bad. Get to see the battle for last place tonight. It's always fun to see. Get to watch the bottom feeders.
I think I'm going to watch this for all the 28 minutes before I find a cooking show or something to watch, because I have about as much interest in this game as I do about third division Czechoslovakian hockey. So we'll see. And the man that can't find Czechoslovakia, nor the Czech Republic, nor Slovakia, who actually can't find Europe on the map, one Chris Green. How are you, sir?
I am well aware of the continent of Europe, sir, but I'm doing okay. Today was a good day at work, finally.
Oh, did you get fired for stealing boxes?
Have not gotten fired yet, but I do have an interview next Wednesday.
Oh, fun. Well, I hope. Never mind. I was going to tell you to bring knee pads, but you know what?
Hope none of your bosses are watching this.
Just a joke. Well, they already know.
Scotty, I don't think they have internet where he works. They don't usually let you have those sort of things in those facilities. They tend to keep those patients locked up and away from the outside world. So, I hope, and hopefully your next job won't involve disposing of monkeys that have been tested on by the government. So we got that going for you. All right, well, we're here. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm not funny. I'm pissed off actually a little bit, but we'll get through it. All right, so we got a couple things going through this evening: NFL picks, college football picks, a couple weird stories to get to. Chris, speaking of weird, you saw some potato chips or some crisp, as they say across the pond, that you have picked up. Now, did you pay legal U.S. tender for these, or did you find these like in the alleyway behind a Wawa or something?
I found them inside of said Wawa. They were 2 for $4. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it in our group chat before, but it's the Hers Game Day flavors. I got Philly cheesesteak and Carolina style barbecue.
Now, did you pick these? Did you pick this brand because it has the same pronoun as you?
That's great. That's great. Hers does make a good chip. Hers does make a good chip.
The bags look very good.
Yeah,
they do a good job with the pictures.
Is Hers Pennsylvania thing? Is that why they're at Wawa? I think they're exclusive to Wawa, aren't they?
No, you can get Hers at other places.
No. I mean these game day flavors.
Oh, yeah. I think the game day flavors are exclusive there. I worked at a radio station that had Hers in the vending machine. So needless to say, a good 3/4 of my paycheck every week was going there. Hers is based out of Nottingham, Pennsylvania, Nottingham Township, to be more precise, which is in Chester County, PA. So not too far from Philadelphia, like the Philadelphia metropolitan area.
All right. Well, I will. We'll go with the Philly cheesesteak first, then, since that's their bread and butter, allegedly. Right. So let's see what we got.
Hold up the bag there for everyone at home to see.
I don't know if it's going to focus or not.
Okay,
nope, it's not.
It looks like you when you leave the bar at roughly 3:14 a.m. So
yeah,
that's how your vision usually looks. But yeah, it is not quite.
You are correct. Yeah,
on your Commodore 64 computer that you're using.
Chris taking a sobriety test. That's what it looks like.
Fun story about those. I'll tell you that later. All right. What kind of coating is on that? It's like.
Did you eat both at the same time?
No, this is the Philly cheesesteak one.
Why is it red?
I think it's orange.
Your camera is I don't know. I look like I'm on the other side of the moon, so I can't talk.
Yeah, you look like you're filming from Ukraine right now.
Well, if I was,
you both do.
if I was there right now, things would be going a lot differently.
So, Philly cheesesteak, not huge fan. It tastes like a mixture of sour cream and onion and cheddar and sour cream chips. There's no steak to be had here. It's okay, I guess. If I was drunk, I'd probably like it a lot more.
Yeah, I can see that. I can't imagine that's something that's quite tasty. I'd imagine it probably has a lot of the cheese flavor. I don't know how you replicate like beef in like a chip. I don't know if you put like a.
Well, they have like steak seasoning or something in there.
Yeah,
just put steak seasoning on the chips. All right, let's move over to the Carolina style barbecue pulled pork.
These, I can tell you already what these are going to taste like. Every barbecue chip ever tastes the exact same, and it's going to be way too fucking sweet. And if you know anything about Carolina barbecue, Western Carolina's got more of a tomato sauce base. Eastern North Carolina is what's popular. That's going to have that vinegar. So this thing is either going to like punch you in the mouth with vinegar, or it's going to be really sweet. And I'm going to say it's going to be really sweet, and it's going to taste like every other barbecue chip ever made.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, the picture on this one doesn't look like Carolina style barbecue at all.
No, that's that.
Have you ever figured out how to make it focus?
Ooh.
That looks like some
have you ever
gas station barbecue.
Have you ever received a phone call from an inmate?
I have not.
So they have like tablets now and stuff that they can make video calls on, but like they have to stay like in like a little circle for them to be visible. That's kind of what it looks like when you try to show us the chips.
Right.
Which goes back to looking like you're broadcasting from Ukraine. Oh, the nice crunching sounds here.
Sorry.
No, it's not bad. I love his face as he's trying to analyze flavor when the only flavor he knows is menthol and rum. Those are his two.
If they ever start putting menthol in cocktails,
oh Jesus
watch
Christ!
out! Yeah, Chris is done for.
If they ever make Newport cigarettes, Chris will be Newport chips. He'll be the guy. He'll be.
All right. So it's not. It is a sweeter barbecue, but you do get a little bit of the vinegar in there. So it's not like a Lay's barbecue chip where it's just the sweet. I don't know how to describe it, to be honest. I like this one. This one, 9.5 out of 10. Cheesesteak one, 5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. What do you? Yeah. Your scoring scale is all over the place. Wow, Dave Portnoy.
It's out of 10.
Scores.
What do you mean?
Rookie scores.
Like, yeah, that's a rookie score, as Dave would say, man. Like, he likes pizza. Well, that pizza might be an 8.1. Like, you go to a 9.5 out of 10. Where do you go after that? You got nowhere else to go.
It's not a perfect chip, but it's fucking close.
Wow. Okay.
The sweet chili Doritos are a 10 out of 10. That's my goalpost.
Wow. Okay. You know what? Okay. I always wonder, like, remember the AMC Gremlin, which might be like one of the shittiest cars like ever made? Like somebody had to look at that and think it was a good idea and buy it. That's Chris. Like somebody had to look at a double wide and go, you know what? I'm gonna live there. That's Chris.
Or a yellow Fiat.
Yes. Or someone. There's a person out there that's keeping Golden Corral in business. That's Chris.
Chris can't afford Golden Corral.
Jesus Christ.
Anywhere with a buffet.
Yeah,
I do love a buffet.
Well, none of us are going to be able to afford anything here if we keep betting the way that we do as we get into our picks for this evening and also for college football tomorrow. All right, Scotty, you are the keeper of the flame.
We actually had a very good week last week. It's gonna take us a while to catch up if we ever catch up. But let me share my screen here.
Digging out of the hole, which
all three of us had great weeks last week. Me and Chris had a better week than you by one game, but all three of us went 3-1 in college.
Can you zoom in there a little bit there? Give us there we go. You are looking live action there. So
yeah, so Chris, both of y'all won your Thursday, Friday game. I lost mine, but I went undefeated in college Saturday. So all three of us went 3-1 in college.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
NFL, me and Chris both went 3-1. Leon, you went 2-2.
Goddamn Buccaneers, man. The goddamn Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Me and Chris went 6-2 last week, and Leon, you went 5-3. So if anybody is following this podcast, they probably started to fade us last week and then probably lost money again. So total records still terrible.
Just like Diddy, we're gonna fuck you.
Wow.
Whether you want it or not.
Wow.
You know what?
Hey, I'm the only one that has. There you go. I'm the only one that has an above 500 record in a sport, but it's 7-6. But I'm also the worst by a half game. You guys are both tied at 12, 17-1. I'm 12-18. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say I swept my F1 picks this past week, and if I had bet more than
did you just pick the favorite?
No, I did not. I had a parlay going there, hit it across the board. If I just put more than like one unit, and my unit is much smaller than the average person's unit, I would have been doing all right. But you know what are you gonna do?
Yep, you've said that a few times.
Well, I've been married. I got nobody to impress no more. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some picks here. So we'll start off with this evening. Amazon Prime was at 8:15 p.m. kickoff. Dallas and New York, the New York Football Giants playing host to the Dallas Cowboys there. If I can get this to pull up, there we go. Now this might have changed. I put this in literally right before I left my place of enslavement to come over here. So tell me if this line has changed, but I have Cowboys right now at -4. And then over under is 44.5. Has that updated, Scotty, here as we
I'm looking now because that's at 5 right now.
-5.
It's been
-5. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and update that. So Cowboys -5, and then over under is 44.5 right now.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So there we go. A couple things before we go into our picks on this one here. I did manage to pull a few graphics on this. Take a peek here. So, and I will pull this out. This from Barstool Gambling. Dak Prescott has covered in 10 straight primetime games versus division opponents. He's also 27-7 against the spread versus divisional opponents since 2017. Also here with this game from Barstool, Daniel Jones is 1-12 all time in primetime games, 1-6 all time against the Dallas Cowboys. And then finally, this from DraftKings Sportsbook, Daniel Jones has never won a game that wasn't played on a Sunday in his NFL career.
Wow.
So just a few little tidbits there leading into this one. Scotty, I will give you the honors here, sir. Cowboys and Giants from MetLife Stadium in beautiful New Jersey.
So, yeah, Giants coming off a upset win. Dallas coming off another beatdown. But I got to go with Dallas here. I actually bet it at -5.5. I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown. There's one thing that Dallas can do. They can beat the Giants. They've beat them 6 in a row. Each game is by at least 7 points. I mean, do we really think the Giants have improved enough to win a Thursday night game against the Cowboys? I know the Cowboys defense is struggling, but I just don't see it. I think CeeDee Lamb is going to just have a field day. They have 2 corners that are out with injury. Like I said, Giants got their win last week. They're not winning back-to-back games. Cowboys aren't losing 3 in a row. What is this 3 in a row? If they would lose tonight, have they lost 2 in a row?
Yeah, it would be
Okay.
3 in a row.
Yeah, this is a get right game for them. They're going to win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I hate to agree with you here. I think I've got a feeling we're going to be unanimous on this one. I like Dallas by a touchdown or more, probably double digits, probably 10. If the Giants score 10 points in this game, I'd be amazed. Even against this woeful Dallas defense, I can see, Daniel Jones easily throwing an interception or two, maybe even a pick six in this one. I think CD is going to have a big day and go off. Obviously, he's taking some flack in the media for his attitude and play last week. I think this is going to be a big bounce back game for them. Dallas obviously has their issues running the ball. We've seen Dowdell get into the mix a little bit more, but I think they're going to air it out, and I think they just have too much offensively to get upset here. I think they cover easily, but if they lose, Mike McCarthy might as well not even get back on the plane. Like if you lose to the Giants and you lose 3 games in a row, and Jerry Jones is your owner, you might as well just get ready to get the Lane Kiffin fired on the tarmac treatment. And McCarthy's a Pittsburgh guy, so maybe he gets fired. He just rents a car there, makes a quick drive. Well, not quick, but it's a doable drive. My buddy Mike makes it all the time from Jersey to Pittsburgh. Go to Permane Brothers tomorrow morning, get yourself a shot and a beer and get yourself a sandwich and go off and ride off into the sunset because he deserves to be fired if he loses this one. So, yeah, that's where I'm going Dallas minus the 5 here.
Yeah, kiss of death here. If the Cowboys look the same as they did in the first half on Sunday, then I would be going with the Giants. But they stormed back. They had a chance to win it late. So, Cowboys big. I would probably alt this up to double digits just to see what would happen. 10 points, not a bad. The Giants suck so bad. Daniel Jones got his 1 win for the year last week. That's going to be it.
Damn, they're going 1-16.
Yeah, they might. Well, either that or he'll get benched.
So this is our first unanimous pick of the year.
No, we had one last week, didn't we?
I don't think for NFL.
No. I think me and you, I think, had 2 same ones, but not all 3 of us.
Yeah. So,
and going back to you talking about McCarthy, he's not getting fired, not until the end of the year, or maybe the last couple of weeks, if anything. If he was going to fire him this early, he would have done it already. He's going to get his money out of McCarthy. And then I don't know if we're going to talk about the whole Belichick thing, but that's where I think he has something up his sleeve. He's got a plan. That's why he brought McCarthy back. It has to be one of those coaches that are sitting out a year. He's getting Saban or Belichick.
Dion and Shador.
No, that can't work.
Hey, though, Scotty, I think Jerry's crazy enough that, this early into the season, if you think things are going south, to blow it up and, maybe you end up tanking and getting a pick. Maybe you end up getting Shador if that's the case. And that's your quarterback. I think if he sees that things aren't going to go well, you just pull that ejection cord and punt on this season, make the move now, have guys play for jobs, and then you go out and now Dion's on the clock. And also you want to get out ahead of Jacksonville because Doug Peterson could be gone too. Maybe if they end up going 0-4, you never knows there. I feel like you want to get that firing out of the way early. Maybe it's just I have a college mindset where you want to pull that trigger early and get your name out there and start working the phones now. But I feel like you don't want to wait too late. And it is the Dallas Cowboys. It's an iconic team, but this ain't your dad's Dallas Cowboys,
I just feel like if he was going to fire him, he would have fired him in the offseason.
Yeah.
I think he's going to make him earn that contract, get all that money out of him, and then let him go. He's got something planned. He's been talking to somebody. Otherwise, he wouldn't have brought McCarthy back.
Lane Kiffin. That's the guy, Lane Kiffin. We're going to go out and get Lane Kiffin. Florida will be in the mix for him too. Could you imagine Lane Kiffin coaching the Dallas Cowboys? It'd be great. I love.
Yeah, you can. I like Lane Kiffin, so I hope he doesn't. But
yeah, that'd be great. All right,
Daniel Tosh.
NFL across the board, we're looking at Dallas minus 5. So you might want to go ahead and put the rent check on Giants plus 5 right now. If all 3 of us are on that.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe
Thank you.
Yeah.
We always wait too long. It should be in the bottom right corner, little subscribe button. Go ahead, hit that, and go ahead and comment. The live comments actually help us a lot.
Yes.
So yeah, let us know if you agree with us or oh, we got a comment actually right here.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. Hey, Leon.
Oh, wow.
Who's that cool guy?
Jesus Christ, superstar. Yeah, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, please. If just tell Chris how bad his picks are, or tell him to take off the goddamn sunglasses because he's inside.
Nope. Never gonna happen.
You look like an unemployed Miami Coke dealer, minus the success of dealing Coke in Miami.
I can't let the people see how beat down I am by this world. There's a story that my eyes tell, and it's not a happy one.
BetterHelp if you would like to sponsor us, I need it. BetterHelp. BetterHelp.com. Keyword: let's not do this. Please help Chris.
He's got some pain behind those eyes.
Yeah, pain and rum and lots of nicotine. Which, by the way, real quick before we go into the other games, I was listening to a podcast on prohibition, and they were talking about. It was a story with this guy, and he was like, "Oh, this bathtub gin that people are making, this is great. It's just got a little menthol in it." And they're like, menthol? That can't be right. And I was sitting there, well, Chris would drink it if it had menthol in it. The guy goes back and he looks it up, and it's got methanol, of course, like hooch, like when you make moonshine, you toss off the heads. Like the beginning of the run is poisonous. It's got methanol. Methanol and what's it? Mentane, what's the stuff in cigarettes? Menthol. Those are two different things. I'm not a scientist, but those are two different things.
Yeah. That reminds me, I don't know if I've told this on the podcast. I've told you this probably a couple times, but back in my 1 year of college, a kid in the dorm came and he's like, "Did you guys see the sign in the bathroom?" We're like, "No, what does it say?" It says, "Don't leave any fetuses on the floor." And we're all like mortified. And we're like, what the fuck? And I'm like, "Do you mean feces?" And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Well,
same thing.
Scotty, I do know where you went to school, and
same.
For
Makes
a lot
sense.
of those people, it was the first time they experienced indoor plumbing. So they
all
may
those
have
people,
been used to just letting it go.
Every single person on that hall is smarter than all three of us. I was definitely probably the dumbest person on that hallway. So, which is why I'm incorrect.
Redneck engineering will take you far in this world. Thus, the television show Moonshiner.
What do you mean? That's an excellent engineering school. All right, let's not do this.
Speaking of your one-time school there, you went off the board with a game that we can't legally pick in the state of Virginia because of our FACOCTA gambling laws for college. But you have decided for your college game, midweek or late week college game, you're going with Virginia Tech, the Hokies, on the road in not Coral Gables. What is it? Sunshine, Florida, I think it's where Hard Rock Stadium is.
Like that,
yeah. Miami laying the 17.5. Over under is 53.5. Friday, 7:30 on the mothership. Scotty, I will give you the floor.
I'm pretty sure this line is not correct. Let me look it up real quick.
I saw 17.
When did you? If it is, it's moved significantly.
Literally about an hour ago when I last checked it, I saw 17.5. Of course, I can't check it on this app right here because we're in Virginia.
Oh yeah, got to go to ESPN.com and check it. But I'm checking it now. But yeah, like you said, we cannot legally bet on it, but I'm sure a lot of people
17.5.
Yeah, 17.5.
Well.
Virginia
Tech whatever.
Virginia Tech is terrible.
But it was at plus 20, and that was going to be my bet. But I'm going to stick with it. I'll take the 17.5. But I'm sure
you're taking Virginia Tech plus a 17.5.
Yes. I wanted the 20. Whatever. Yeah, like you said, we can't legally bet on it here, but I'm sure a majority of our listeners are either not in Virginia or they have a bookie or an offshore overseas account. So yeah. Virginia Tech just can't handle expectations. All of those expectations are gone now. It's a rivalry game. Not as big of a rivalry as it used to be, but still a rival nonetheless. like I said, Virginia Tech, all of their expectations are gone. Now nobody thinks they have a chance in this game. They've been second half warriors, even though they just can't get over the hump at the end. I could see them either playing them tight the whole game or getting a backdoor cover. I'm sure Miami just thinks they're going to come in home game and just blow us out. And I understand why they think that. We've looked terrible so far, especially in the first half. I blame the offensive coordinator just calling plays that have absolutely no shot happening. You're inside your own end zone and you're calling a shotgun deep pass that takes forever to come about. And then, I got a safety. Yeah, no shit. Not using his running backs in the first half when that's probably the strength of the team. Hopefully he figures some shit out, or maybe Brent Pry is telling him, look, use our running backs. Stop whatever you're doing, do the opposite. But yeah, I just think that I don't know. I think they've had a couple of disappointments at home. Maybe getting away from home in his rivalry game wakes them up, wakes Drones up. I mean, it's a lot of points. I think worst case, we can get a backdoor cover. So give me Virginia Tech. And, I mean, this line has moved. It was at 20 at one point. So it's moved 2.5 points towards. That means some money's coming in on us. So give me the Hokies. And probably the only time I'll get to bet on them this year. Maybe I'll find another avenue to bet this game. But, yeah, give me the Hokies plus 17.5.
You know, if you drive just about a little over an hour south down 85, you can go to the great state of North Carolina and lose your money right there. Stop at a Smithfield's Chicken, get yourself a little chicken combo there, and knock yourself out and lose all your money. Scotty, you're an insane person. I will going to take you back to December, I believe it was December 7th, a day which will live in infamy. December 7th, 2002. Miami, which was in the number one team in the country, beat Virginia Tech 56-45. That was the most points scored in the history of this rivalry by either team. Now, there was a period of time where this was a very hotly contested rivalry. D'Angelo Hall ain't walking through that door. Ken Oxendine ain't walking through that door. Michael Vick, Pearson Prelo, Corey Moore, John Engelberger, you name it, they're not walking through that door. This Virginia Tech team is terrible. Miami has the ACC's best passer in Cam Ward. They're playing amazing defense right now as well. I don't think a lot of people are talking about that. This team is going to punish Virginia Tech. I know Tootin is the second leading rusher in the league for Virginia Tech. He's got like 391 yards on the ground, 7 TDs.
And no carries.
Miami's going to take that runaway early, force Drones to pass. I don't know if Drones makes it through this game. I hope he does. But
we don't run the ball early. Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but we don't run the ball early. So, yeah, they can take the runaway early because we take it away ourselves.
I think going into this game in what should be a hostile environment, Miami obviously has some trouble drawing fans, but it seems like people are getting on this Hurricane bandwagon now. What should be a loud, raucous environment, and usually on the road, people want to take control the clock, run the ball. I think Miami's going to take that away. They're going to force Drones to throw, and it's going to be ugly. Don't be surprised if Miami scores 50-plus points in this game. Easy cover. You thought NC State Clemson was bad last week. This could be the redux of that. Miami, big. If you want to push that to 25 points, go ahead and do it. Hurricanes are going. That's not going to be the only hurricane to hit the state of Florida this week. Virginia Tech's going to get hit by that hurricane as well.
I love it. You said easy. That's the kiss of death. The kiss of death. Easy cover.
Listen, I will fade Miami for 15 years. All we heard is Miami's back and Texas is back, and it never materializes. Miami looks legit right now, and Restrepo is one of the best receivers in the league. I love what Cam Ward's doing. They're recruiting at a high level, and I do think they're well coached. I know last year, notwithstanding the whole kneel down thing, but this team looks different this year. They look like they're on the mission. It reminds me of Miami of old.
I've been higher on Miami all year than both of you, going back to the first week against Florida. Both of you guys like Florida. I said Miami has way more talent. I thought that they would get to the ACC title game and lose it just because of their coach. But, I mean, they're clearly the most talented team in the conference, But this is just more of a spot. We're coming off another letdown. We have to come out and play hard. I don't think we're going to win the game, but I just think we're going to play them tough. We got a lot more motivation. Miami, like I said, Mike, everything you just said, that's what Miami's thinking, and that's what Tech is thinking. So I just think we're going to come out playing harder. Maybe keep it close for a while. Miami pulls away at the end, but I think we're going to cover the 17.5. It'd be a 14-point game.
Do we know if Virginia Tech fans have purchased their Greyhound tickets with their aluminum cans that they cashed in to make the trip down there?
As opposed to Miami fans who probably has to get a Greyhound to the game and they live in Miami.
Hey, you know what? That's very true. I forget what the little sunshine train or whatever it's called down there that they got that Fakakta railway system, but there's going to be a lot of people wearing jorts and really faded Michael Vick jerseys taking the Greyhound down to South Florida. They're going to be leaving very disappointed. Enjoy.
Are we sure that the Miami fans are going to show up? It's Friday night.
Yes,
are we sure?
They are getting behind this team. After what they did to South Florida last week, as well, a South Florida team who just hung with Alabama the week before that. They scored 50 something. They could have scored 75 in that game if they wanted to. They're getting behind it. Miami's a big event town. They're going to come. They're going to show out. It's going to be loud. It's going to remind you what Miami used to be and what I think Miami could be. I think, you know what? Let's go ahead and make Miami great again.
I think they're going to win the game. They're not going to cover. They're going to win the ACC, but they're not covering tomorrow.
Christopher?
Chris, what do you think?
Can you find Miami on the map?
Yeah, it's down at the bottom of Florida.
Yeah, there we go. All right, just want to make sure.
That's a lot of points. It is a rivalry game. It's a conference game. I'll just take the over 53.5.
Which Miami will cash about midway through the third quarter by themselves.
I'm a Virginia Tech hater. I'm also a Mario Cristobal hater. He's a terrible coach. Tech's a terrible team. I don't know. Over 53.5. I'm not picking a side.
There we go.
All right. I feel like you said it's a lot of points, but I feel like if you think Tech might cover, then we need the under to hit.
Yeah, no. If Tech covers, it's definitely going to be a more ugly game. Maybe, I don't know, the direction of the hurricane, if they need those rings of stuff are coming there, maybe get some rain or something. Some kooky stuff has to happen to keep the score down.
Maybe that's probably why the line is moved down to 17.5 because of the weather, which is more on my side.
But that thing was going toward the Panhandle, and Miami's obviously further south. But who knows? I'm not Jim Cantori, so I don't know if that thing goes back. I did see a Florida State student tweet today that the Waffle House was closed in Tallahassee, which
that's a big deal.
That does not bode well because the National Weather Service does use the Waffle House. We actually watched a video on it here last night, my wife and I, about Waffle Houses, and the National Weather Service uses it to indicate how real shit is. This is not even a joke. They have a system based on if Waffle House is open or not. So this is several hours south. I don't know if this thing makes a hook like one of my golf shots off the tee. Who knows? But yeah.
Yeah, that thing went from a 1 yesterday. It's close to a 4 right now as it's making landfall in the Panhandle.
Yeah, well, it's got that warm water there in the Gulf, and it's going to draw from that. Look at me, I'm getting my Josh, my Josh paid off. Yeah.
Well, the one good thing is that Waffle House is closed down is there will be less assault charges this weekend. So that's good.
True. That's very true. You literally on your application to Waffle House, it's like, when was the last time you were in prison? It's not have you been in prison? It's when was the last time? And do you have brass knuckles? That's your Waffle House job application, and the more recent that you've been to prison, the better it is for you.
What's your street fighting record?
Yes. Have you ever fought Kimbo Slice? Oh, okay. Welcome to Waffle House, sir. Would you like to make minimum wage for
RIP?
Yes, and make pancakes for people like Chris. All right. Speaking of Chris, I'll let him go first. I think him and I have the same game here. Little Big Ten matchup. the Huskies of Washington making the trip to the banks of the Raritan River, beautiful Piscataway, New Jersey. R.I.P. Tony Soprano. Rutgers minus the 2. Scarlet Knights favorite there at home, over under 44.5. Tomorrow evening, 8 p.m. on Fox.
I am going with Washington. As Scotty alluded to last week or the week before, some point on this podcast, the West Coast teams coming east has not affected them, and they are playing well. It's also an 8 p.m. game, so it's not that big of a deal time-wise. Rutgers has played absolutely fucking nobody. Washington is a very good team historically. I haven't seen anything out of them this year. They lost to Washington State, rivalry game, whatever. But Rutgers playing nobody, not looking impressive against some of the nobodies. So Washington plus 2. They'll probably win outright.
All right, taking the Huskies plus the 2 on the road there. Rutgers 3-0 right now, and maybe a surprise team in the Big Ten. One of the better running backs in the country that most people, unless you're a sicko watching Rutgers football, probably don't know about. Kyle Monangai. I love saying that name, Kyle Monangai. Senior there, New Jersey kid. He's the real deal, averaging 6.3 yards per carry on the ground right now. 457 yards rushing, 5 TDs on the ground. Second leading rusher in the Big Ten. Will not give you anything in the receiving game. To date, he has 2 receptions for 3 yards on the season, but Rutgers likes to ground and pound. They're averaging 255.7 yards per game on the ground, leading the Big Ten. Callie McManus, the quarterback that transferred from Minnesota, they don't ask him to do a lot. He's thrown for 646 through the air, but he's not turning it over. 6 touchdowns, 1 pick. Washington's D is 3rd in the Big Ten and 11th nationally, giving up 10.3 points per game. Washington plays tough defense. Rutgers likes to run the ball, control the clock. I'm going to go with the under on this one, under 44.5 for the Scarlet Knights there on a little Friday battle in the banks of the Raritan River.
Yeah, I actually agree with both of you guys. So this was actually the game I was going to pick before we opened up the Virginia Tech game. I had Washington at 2.5. That was going to be my pick. I'm glad I didn't now that it's moved down to 2. I actually think Washington's going to win this game. It's just like Chris was saying, the whole West Coast to East Coast thing hasn't really happened, the struggle this year yet. Washington's been a little underwhelming. Rutgers is coming off they were listed as an underdog. Now, whether they probably should have been in hindsight, that's another story, but they're coming off an underdog win. But I think that game was more about Tech just not being able to play in the first half than Rutgers doing anything. As good as Rutgers has been, their run defense has not been that great. They've been giving up a lot of big runs. Washington, not the greatest run team, but I do think that they will be able to have enough success running that it opened things up for Will Rogers, who, like you said, the Rutgers quarterback, I can't say his last name, but you said he hasn't turned it over yet. Neither has Will Rogers.
Yeah. Aiden Kaliakmanis, transfer from Minnesota. He's
no
longer rowing the boat. Which
that is a Minnesota name.
Yeah. Go on.
But yeah, I just think everything's pointing towards Rutgers, but this is still Washington at Rutgers. I still think Washington's a better team getting points. I'm probably going to end up betting them money line to win outright. And unless it's over under gets above 45, I might take that under.
Okay. There we go. All right. Well, just to recap, Scotty is officially on Virginia Tech plus 17.5. Chris, you have Washington plus the 2 points. I'm on the under of 44.5 at Washington and Rutgers. And then for this evening's matchup between the Cowboys and the Giants, I have Dallas minus the 5. And where were you guys at again?
We're all on minus 5.
Minus 5. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. So Dallas minus the 5 points there. A couple other things before we go into some non-sports stuff here. Obviously, have you guys been following the saga of the quarterback that is going into the portal allegedly, redshirting Matthew Sluka from UNLV? Have you guys been following this?
Yeah,
a little bit.
I posted about it earlier, a response. I don't know who the response was from, but it's on my Facebook.
Yeah. So, well, it would have been better from the show's page there, Christopher.
Yeah.
Well, if you paid attention to my fucking Facebook, like a good friend would, you would have been able to pick it off.
Well, you should have just posted it to the show's page.
Yeah.
Jeez,
I didn't think about that.
Anyway, so Matthew Sluka, who's in his first year at UNLV, transfer coming over from Holy Cross, the College of Holy Cross,
I'll share it right now.
Yeah, UNLV undefeated right now. He's going to redshirt for the rest of the season because remember, if you play 4 or less games, you can redshirt, and he's going to preserve that year of eligibility and then go into the transfer portal. And there's been a lot of things that have come out about this and what precipitated this. Allegedly, it's over NIL. And whether there was a compensation number that was agreed to and wasn't, obligations that weren't met. There's a few different reports. I start with Pete Thamel here. Let's see if this pops up for us. Okay, so Pete Thamel said the former UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka's NIL representation, Marcus Cromartie of Equity Sports, told ESPN that Sluka was verbally promised a minimum of $100,000 from UNLV assistant coach for transferring there, and then that none of that money was paid per Cromartie. He's also saying that once Sluka enrolled there was no effort by UNLV's collective to formalize the contract at that amount. Months after he enrolled, Cromartie made multiple attempts with the staff and school to address the issue. Now, obviously, a deal did not get done. But then there is this woman, Paloma Valencicana. I do apologize, lady, if I'm getting your name wrong. She is a Las Vegas sports reporter. If I can tab over to her, she came out with other information, which she does work for the coaches show. Barry Odom, the head coach at UNLV, she does do the coaches show with them. So who knows? But per source, she's saying that Matthew Sluka was approached with more money to transfer. So maybe some tampering from another program that was offering more money for him to transfer. Then there was another post that came out, this from Carl Reed Jr. Chris, I think this is the one that you may have shared.
This is earlier. The one, this is the one I shared.
Who used to be a coach. He's saying that all financial commitments for Matthew Sluka were completely met, but after their upset wins over Kansas and Houston, getting 2 Power 4 wins, Sluka's family hired an agent, and they collectively felt that his market value had increased, and so he wanted more money. So there's a million different stories out there. All this is playing out publicly. It's essentially the school's word versus Sluka and his representative and the family's word. What say you guys on this?
I don't know. I haven't seen UNLV. Are they? I mean, is this kid that good, or do they just play well? Like, is he the reason?
No. Okay. UNLV.
So
go on.
Yeah, from what I heard, like they have another quarterback, and it was like they were like neck and neck on who was going to start. So the team's not really feeling that hurt about this because they're like, hey, we got this other guy that we feel like we could have started, and we would have did just as well. I think it's more the team. I'm usually on the player side in NCAA disputes, but I don't know. I feel like it's probably more likely that is it Sluka? Is that how you say his last name?
Sluka, yeah.
Okay. I feel like it's probably more likely that the UNLV is telling the truth as far as he's 2-0 and like his team is getting together his agent or whatever and is trying to get more money. Now, who knows what the truth really is, but at the end of the day, he's saying that an assistant coach promised him $100,000 and he's not getting it. But you signed a contract. When you sign a contract, you should have made sure, you and your agent or whoever should have made sure that 100,000 was in there. So that just tells me, I think he's just trying to get more money out of them. I think he's making a mistake because they have a chance to make the playoff and they have a good team. They're going to probably keep winning games, and then he can transfer next year and make more money. I think he's really hurting himself because, 6 months from now or whatever, who the hell is Matthew Sluka? I'm sure somebody's going to take him, but I think he can make more money.
If I can interrupt you, Scotty, he's trying to cash out now because this is his last year. He was a grad transfer from Holy Cross.
Okay.
So that's part of the reason why trying to preserve that eligibility, because let's say another program was coming in, not saying anyone's doing anything, but let's just say a P4 school, it's coming in, a major state university. Let's say it was Florida, and they're coming in to toss some money. That bag, you have to get that bag now because it's not going to be there later.
So he can't play anywhere else, right? He can't play another year.
This is his last year. That's why he's wants the red shirt to keep that year of eligibility.
Then that still doesn't make any sense to me why he's sitting out. If you need to sue somebody, but still play. I mean, if you go to the playoff, you might get some kind of endorsement. It's silly to me. I don't know. I think he's making a mistake.
Yeah, after hearing all that, the math doesn't math for me. If he does sit out and he was paid that money, does he have to return it? How does that work?
That I don't know. NCAA has opened Pandora's box with NIL stuff. You're only going to see more of this. We don't know. Like, there's no guardrails in place. It's not like a NFL contract. None of this stuff was public. We don't know.
Didn't the running back do the same thing earlier?
Yes. UNLV has a running back. I'm not sure if this is the case you're talking about, but they have a running back, Michael Allen, who ironically was at NC State last year and was one of the guys from NC State that opted out, decided the red shirt during the season last year, went to UNLV, and then hours after this whole Saluka thing came out, he went into the portal and decided to red shirt. But one of the most notable cases was last year, MJ Morris at NC State. It was a whole thing over NIL and playing time. Remember the run the Wolfpack were having last year after the struggles with Brendan Armstrong. Then Morris decides to redshirt. Brendan comes back and guts NC State to a damn good finish to the season. Morris transfers to Maryland. His parents allegedly kind of pushing this whole thing, wanting more money and wanting more promises. And now he's sitting the bench backing up Billy Edwards Jr. in College Park. So who knows?
I think these kids are probably getting pressure from family members and shitty agents who shouldn't be talking to college kids. They need to get a union going so that they can vet the agents so that they make sure that the kids' best interests are being met.
I think ultimately what college football needs is a commissioner. You need a czar, because eventually we're seeing the writing on the wall. It's only a matter of time before the Power Four, or maybe there becomes a five, where they break off and start their own thing. The money is just too big. UCLA is competing at a different level than Coastal Carolina is. And that's just the way it's going to be always. We need a commissioner. There needs to be roster limits and NIL. It needs to be NFL Junior, essentially. We need roster limits. We need salary cap. We need a contract. It's just, hey, we've signed this recruit from Pocatello, Idaho for 2 years, and he's going to make $700,000. And then maybe at the end of that 2 years, then he's eligible to transfer somewhere else. It's almost like free agency. That's what we need, because otherwise we're going to see more situations like this, and it's just going to get ugly and ugly and ugly. And this is the new world that we're living in, but it's killing the sport that I think we all love. I want the players to get compensated. I want the players to get their worth, but I don't think we all expected any of this kind of stuff to happen either, where it's kind of freewheeling, wheeling and dealing, and guys leaving during the middle of the season. And it's not positive for the sport to have things like these happen.
Oh, this is what happens when a corrupt entity runs it as long as it did while exploiting the players and becoming a $1 billion business and not sharing any of the money. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah. This is happening because the
Of the
NCAA they got so mad that they had to start letting players make their own money that they were just like, fuck it, you guys do what you want to do. It's like when an ex-girlfriend or when a girlfriend gets mad and she's like, fuck it, you do whatever you want. It's just like, now shit, it's just all chaos. And I think at some point they're probably going to end up having these NIL deals where you probably have to play for you have to stay for 2 years. I would imagine. I think is what is going to end up happening. Now, when you said salary cap, do you mean just like a cap on what each player can make, or like for the whole team?
I think a cap for the team, because I mean, like Dave Portnoy came out recently and said, he's willing to spend upwards of $3 million on an NIL deal to get Michigan a quarterback each year. He just came out and said that recently, which, hey, that's great. Not every college has a Dave Portnoy, though. Where's the Dave Portnoy for Georgia State? Georgia State will never be able to pay someone that.
But one of the good things about college football is the blue bloods. You're going to lose that if you put a cap on the whole team. I think maybe as far as like the actual college, maybe what they can pay players. Is that what you're talking about? Or do you? I mean,
I'm fine.
Do you think like boosters should be able to have a cap too, or can they just pay whatever?
I honestly think, I know this whole House versus NCAA thing, this lawsuit, I don't want to get into all that, but eventually we're going to have where the schools are going to be directly paying the players. I know the state of Georgia just passed something where the schools can directly pay the players.
But that's happening at some places already, right?
Well, it's through an NIL collective. It's not necessarily the athletic department directly paying the player. I think what needs to happen, what's best for the sport, is revenue sharing and have the school actually pay the player, and then you put a cap on that. Then if you want to get an endorsement afterwards, like if Dave wants to sign a Michigan quarterback to a deal with Barstool Sports and pay him $3 million a year, that's the same difference as, Patrick Mahomes going out and signing a deal with whatever barbecue restaurant in Kansas City or whatever. That's totally fine. But I think like what needs to come through the school needs to be capped, and that way it's more competitive, it's more equal. And then if you can make your money elsewhere on the side, so be it. But it's got to be like a normal, traditional endorsement deal. We need more guardrails to safeguard against stuff like this.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then I also think they need to put, like, if you sign an NIL deal, you need to stay for 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, like this stuff, guys can, and then especially you can get the one free transfer now, and then you can transfer again to grad school. You got guys that are playing at 3 and 4 schools now and stuff. I mean, it's like, this is not what it was intended to be, I don't think. But what a week for UNLV, by the way, because they were extended a Pac-12 invitation, allegedly, that they may have turned down and decided to go with the Mountain West, but they informally signed something. And then Utah State left the left the Mountain West and is going to the Pac-12. Now Utah's taking it over. And now right before we went on air here, Stuart Mandel of I don't even know who he's with now. He used to be with Sports Illustrated. Wow. But anyway, he says the 7 remaining Mountain West members, including Hawaii, have signed a grant of rights through 2032. So UNLV actually is in that mix. They've signed a grant of rights like the ACC has. So now these guys are locked in. Yeah. By the way, none of this matters right now anyway, because I think like 2030, a lot of these TV deals are up. All this shit's going to blow up again. So, like, none of this stuff matters, I don't think. I think we're going to see a total reshaping in, like, 5 or 6 years. But look at UNLV, I guess. By the way, imagine a world where, like, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, someone told you UNLV, and I think it was Air Force and San Diego State, where they're going to turn down the Pac-12 to stay in the Mountain West. Or Tulane in South Florida and Memphis, we're going to turn down the Pac-12 to stay in the AAC. None of this makes sense anymore.
No, it's crazy. We'll
see what
happens.
Smart by the Mountain West, though.
Yeah, no, get these.
Yeah, the Mountain West had to do something because they're about to get dissolved.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think Cal and Stanford still have a chance to do the funniest thing ever and just say, you know what, ACC, thanks for the little dalliance. We're just going to go back across.
They should. It wouldn't hurt the ACC at all. Nobody would notice.
Yeah,
they should.
one last sports thing before we go to some other stuff here. I wanted to play this. This I found on TikTok from Barstool Sports. A little excerpt, I think, from Pardon My Take. Derrick Rose hung it up. Finally, I think he was cut by what team was it?
Memphis. Was it Memphis?
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
One of them.
Memphis.
And they cut him. He's hung it up. And they were talking to Joakim Noah, and he was talking about Derrick Rose.
I'd say probably once a month I think about what if Derrick Rose didn't get injured, especially that year when, the Bulls were the 1 seed. Does it just like, you'll be daydreaming and you'll be like, damn, that sucked.
Yeah, I thought I had the whole clip there. I guess I didn't. But Big Cat talked about that. I mean, that's one of the greatest like what if careers. I'm not even an NBA guy, but that's one of the greatest like what if things. Like what if that guy's knee doesn't turn into linguini?
Yeah, he's Chicago's version of my version of Penny Hardaway. Like what if, or Grant Hill? You can use Grant Hill too, or Tracy McGrady. Yeah.
You had a lot of those.
I am sad.
Okay, Boner Boy.
We accept all types.
We support you.
I will.
Love is love.
Boner Boy, I will send you Chris's phone number once we get done here. You guys can go out.
We all know who that is.
Yeah,
we do. He already has my phone number.
He's in our fantasy.
Sure we do. And then another thing I wanted to get to here, hopefully this whole clip plays. The President's Cup is going on, and I missed it today, actually having to do work for the first time in forever. But little Scotty Scheffler showing a different side. This is him and Kim. I forget his first name now. But Scotty, I'll just play the clip.
Around there while they were putting at 8. Tom Kim trying to fight back. Got it to go. They need something.
I don't know why I cut it off.
That was not Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah, that was Tom Kim. But on the backside of that, Scotty Scheffler drained the putt and like yelled out and screamed like, "How about that?" or "What about that?" or something like that. Like you never see that side.
He's got street cred now.
Yeah, that was courtesy of the PGA Tour via TikTok there. I don't know why that cut off on me, so I do apologize there. All right, as we get ready to go on.
Can we just talk about the poverty franchise that is the Pittsburgh Pirates? They got the most exciting fucking young pitcher in the world, and they DFA somebody.
Was he a pitcher? I thought he was a.
No. I'm just talking about Skeens, but
they
DFA'd Rowdy Tellez 4 at bats before he hits a bonus.
Yeah, listen, Bob Nutting. There are bad owners, and then there's Bob Nutting. He fell ass backwards into a beautiful ballpark. It's one of the best ballparks, my favorite that I've ever been to in baseball. My favorite stadium experience that I've ever had in sport, period. It was PNC Park. Beautiful ballpark. People come out to go to the ballpark because the team sucks. They got Skeens. They're gonna fuck that up. Like they fuck up every young prospect that they have, and they're not gonna sign them. They're not gonna be able to keep them when it's all said and done. Rowdy Tellez, what was it? It wasn't even that big of a bonus, right?
$200,000.
Yeah. 200 grand. That's not even a guaranteed contract, in baseball. He needed to get 425 plate appearances, and they designated him for assignment. So he's 4 shy of getting the performance bonus. I mean, and then Ben Cherington, the GM, was asked about it, and he said it didn't factor in at all, none into the decision.
Wow.
It's the last week of the year, man.
Yeah, and Rowdy is, from all accounts, a stand-up guy. It wasn't a situation like when the Nats sent C.J. Abrams down to the minors after he was allegedly out at a casino until 8 a.m. on the day of a game. That makes a little bit of sense there, okay? There's a little bit of a disciplinary issue. This guy busted his ass on your bad baseball team, and you DFA him, just short him 200 grand. I'm sure Bob Nutting has 200 grand in his pockets right now, probably.
Fucking terrible, man. That's why they're never going to be relevant. Well, until that guy dies, I guess. Who knows?
I
didn't even know the guy's name, but
I actually bet on them today. That was the one baseball bet I made today. It was the Pirates, and of course, at plus money, of course, they lost. I don't know. You sign that. You put that clause in your contract. You sign off on it. It might be kind of shitty, but whatever. It's business. The team sucks. I could see where the owner's like, well, if you're that good, you should have had us in contention.
One guy
It's
that's
shitty. I understand it's
DHing isn't
shitty, but
going to do that.
all right then. So then why am I paying him this? I'm not siding with the owner. I can just.
Sounds like you are.
It's
Management.
business.
Oh,
It's business.
Scotty over here.
Management.
Well, no. So when a player holds out for more money, I don't really care. When the owner makes a business decision to save some money, I don't really care either. You won't see me on
He
here
made
talking about
200 grand
contracts.
probably off of one Livy Dunn TikTok this year.
True. So don't let them put that clause in the contract then.
Yeah.
That's, you know what?
At the end of the day, he could have said, "Just put that $200K in my contract, where I'm not signing," and it wouldn't have ended up happening.
But they just would have got another. I mean, it's Rowdy Tellez. You know, I mean, this isn't Mike Piazza. You know,
Yeah, he looks like Leon. Come on, give him a break.
Excuse me. Hey, he's a serviceable catcher, and he DHs. He's a good clubhouse guy, good veteran guy. But you know,
serviceable.
I mean,
everything you just said everything you just said leads me to believe that I understand why they made the move.
But everyone has this in their deal. You know, like college football coaches. If Dabo gets clipped into the playoff, he's getting a kicker in his contract. You know, if Tony Elliott somehow, some way gets Virginia into a bowl, he gets a kicker. You know, if Brent Pry doesn't get fired at Virginia Tech, he'll get a kicker, I'm sure, this year.
And they're all business decisions. Now, if he decides that he wants to leave the Pirates when his contract's up, then that's the owner's fault if he pissed him off that bad.
But this is also sending a message to other players. Like, why the fuck would I want to go there? I'm
okay then.
I've played over 100 games as a catcher, which is damn near impossible nowadays. That position beats the shit out of your joints. And he was 421 plate appearances is nuts.
Yeah,
for a catcher.
If I'm Paul Skeens,
I'm speaking more of the morality of it.
Well, he DHs.
Whether it's a bad or good decision, we'll see. But it's like, oh, this owner's a piece of shit. I mean, whatever. It's business. I don't know. I don't care.
If I'm Paul Skeens, I'm just gonna check that off in the back of my mind. Like,
oh yeah.
Okay, when my contract
see you in Atlanta
comes up,
soon, Paul.
I'm going to remember that. Well, no, he doesn't want his arm to fall off, so he's not going to go to Atlanta when that's all.
And if he does that, I won't be mad either. That's his choice.
Yeah. All right. One last thing here. Speaking of choices, the Oakland A's played their final home game ever before they go barnstorming in Sacramento for a little bit before they maybe allegedly go to Vegas. I actually watched a good portion of this game while I was working this afternoon. They get the 3-2 win over the Rangers. It was surreal. They had like 44,000 people there, which is probably the biggest crowd they've had in some time. And on the broadcast, they were mentioning this is the biggest crowd ever for a team playing their last game before relocation, which I don't know who keeps that stat, but think about it. The last team to get relocated were the Expos when they came to Nationals. Nobody was going to Expos games at the end. And before that, it was like, you know, in the 60s and 70s, the stadiums weren't that big as they are now. The Coliseum's massive. They actually had people out in the outfield, which I thought those seats were condemned. By the way, literally, there's sections of that ballpark. I was watching behind the scenes stuff that are like roped off. They're like condemned. Wow. They still got Raiders banners and stuff behind certain parts of things in that ballpark. And I saw people pulling seats out yesterday. Yeah. Like, we haven't finished yet. There's still a game today. Guys are taking rusted out seats and stuff. Like, oh my God. But that being said, probably the last great highlight there, JJ Bleday.
This one is center field. JJ Bleday on the move and diving catch. JJ Bleday with a diving catch. What a gift for Oakland.
This is unbelievable.
So that courtesy of Major League Baseball there on Instagram, the A's fans getting one last thing to cheer about. And I forget the announcer's name. She is quite terrible. And then Dallas Braden there on the color, which is also cool too. They had Barry Zito in the booth for a little bit and they were talking and just kind of reminiscing. And when you just think about that franchise and what happened. Remember Zito and Hudson and Mulder and like just that staff that they had and how that place used to be a zoo is just it's really sad to see it come to an end the way it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billionaires don't want to buy a new ballpark in their own stadium, so they make the public pay for one somewhere else.
Hey, but there will be baseball in Oakland next year. There's a semi-pro team or something called the Oakland Roots. No, that's a soccer team. It's the Oakland Ballers is what it is.
All right.
And they're going to move into the Coliseum next
Oh,
year.
God. Poor guys.
They might actually outdraw the A's. So
Poor guys.
Far cry
Fucking
from the
dumb.
Bash Brothers.
yes, far cry. You know what? They should have handed out steroids at the gate today for your old time's sake. Just McGuire and Canseco, just a syringe when you come in.
Bring back steroids for baseball.
Yes.
I'm for it.
Juice the balls. Bring back the steroids.
It's not the first time Chris has juiced balls. Speaking of weird news. I like that techno beat. You know, I got some dubstep in me there going on. All right. That was a little dubstep or something, right?
That was not dubstep.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what these kids do these days.
You can't even regular step, so I don't know what you're talking about dubstep for.
Well, this woman would tell you both to get to stepping. Both of you are single gentlemen. Both of you are looking for dates. Chris may have his date a little bit later with Boner Boy. But this woman's taking some heat on social media. Her name is Honey Non ABG on Twitter, and she's put out her ideal stats for a guy. She's looking for 6 foot plus. Neither one of you have that. Good facial bone structure. Neither one of you have that. 120 plus IQ. Neither one of you have that.
Not verified. Maybe.
Chris has a 20 IQ. Deep voice. Neither one of you have that.
No.
Funny. Neither one of you have that.
We both got that.
I'm funny.
You're both funny looking, but like not funny. Assertive. Neither one of you have that.
No, I'm very passive.
Cowboy personality. Damn sure neither one of you have that.
We're losers.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Dallas Cowboys?
Okay. You know what? Good point. You know what? I'm gonna give you a check. Cha-ching. I'm gonna give you one.
Half check. So 1.5 for both of us.
Income, she wants over 130,000. If you put you two together, neither one of you have that.
Yeah.
And then optional, Ivy League educated. I think one of y'all might have drove by Harvard once or drove by Penn once, maybe.
I got poison ivy when I was a kid. Does that count?
No, not quite. Not quite. So you don't have that. And old money. I think the closest thing you all have to old money, Chris might have a $5 bill in one of his gym shorts somewhere.
I do keep some like $2 just laying around. That way I'll never be broke. But it's been just in my house for forever.
Are you one of those? Are you one of those dumbass Clemson fans with their $2 bills?
No, like two $1 bills.
Oh,
okay. Actually,
you're looking for the West Virginia Strip Club special, a little $2 action there on the Tuesday night. I got you. Okay.
But yeah, I have the funny part. The rest of it, probably not.
So you guys are out there in the trenches there, trying to get the dating done. And is this a common thing? Is this what women are looking for now?
Yeah, that's why there's so many single people.
Can you zoom in on her face? I want to see if she's worth all this.
This graphic does not allow me to zoom in. Yeah, it's a screenshot. Okay. It's built in. Yeah.
I'm going to look her up. Hold on. Hold, please. I'm going to see.
Hold, please, as he goes live.
Her face is probably busted if she's asking for all this. That's usually how it goes.
Her personality is probably dog
the same as the girls that have like sexy on their license plate.
Ooh,
or juicy on their pants.
Yes, juicy on the pants. Usually the girls that have juicy on the pants are the same ones that wear the Walmart Tweety Bird t-shirt that talks about having an attitude. You know those ones I'm talking about? Usually those girls could play on the left side of the line for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, and they'll probably stab you if you get in a relationship with them.
All right, I got bad news.
What's that?
She's hot.
She's kind of hot, and she's a software engineer and a personal trainer. So she's actually successful.
So she
posted this at 2:08 a.m. So she was probably working all night.
Well, you know what?
This is why I'm single.
This my Twitter is set to the Eastern time zone. Who knows? She could have been abroad. Time zone differences. Who knows?
She's abroad. Yeah.
But yes,
yeah.
Neither one of y'all are cracking that one there.
But also, she doesn't sound like a kind of person I would want to be around that much, anyways.
Yeah. Well, good luck and Godspeed to you both there.
Yeah, it's not easy out here.
When I'm on a dating site and I see like if a girl has like a checklist that's like more than like 3 or 4 items, I'm like, fuck that.
Oh, it's like it's like a
I
job
swipe right
application.
just to see what happens, and then I'm a dick if we do match. So
it's like a job application, like if I submit my resume and then you ask me to fill in the shit again after I've already submitted the resume, we're not doing
yeah. And I don't do cover sheets.
Yeah.
I probably missed out on jobs.
What is a cover sheet?
I don't know. I probably missed out on jobs because I was like, cover sheet, fuck that. Why am I doing a cover sheet? You're wasting paper.
A cover sheet is a curriculum vitae, I believe it's called, which is Latin for course of life. It's a short summary of a person's career, qualifications, and education.
I know what.
Isn't that what the fucking resume is for? I did,
but it's redundant.
I've never done redundant.
Exactly. Yeah. It's one of the most redundant things I think we have in our society here. I do not believe in them either.
Yeah. I would literally not apply for the job if you asked for a cover sheet.
This is some boomer bullshit.
Yeah. This is I'm sharing right now a sample one that I've gotten from Wikipedia. So don't go calling.
That's too much on a cover sheet. That's not a real cover sheet.
Don't go calling this guy. I don't know who he is.
Stupid. Yeah, just take it back down. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's stupid. Why would anybody want to do that?
Why is he using his girlfriend's email address? Did you see that? He had a man's name up top, and then the email was Paul or something.
Oh yeah, Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center. So this actually looks real.
So he's a cook.
Why does Wikipedia have someone's real CV on there? My God. If you look up CV on Wikipedia, there's just some guy's info.
So we didn't dox him. Whatever.
Pizza Hut's putting resumes on pizza boxes. Who cares?
Yeah. So, all right. Well, Scotty, did you have one last thing you want to get to before we got out of here?
Did I?
I don't know.
Yeah. You sent something over. We've talked about this on the show before, but somebody put an article up. These are the worst things a passenger has done in your car.
Sure.
We heard it all from messy spills to drunk friends. We don't need to go through this article, but I guess we can go through. Leon, you don't drive, so maybe you can.
Well, if
your wife's around, you can ask her, or if you've done something in the car.
I've been that bad passenger before. I've was in a car allegedly with a friend. Allegedly, I know of someone that may have done this, and we thought that another friend was following behind us, and so someone in that vehicle may have had a full bottle of Diet Mountain Dew, and that person may have rolled down the window, and they were sitting behind the driver after the friend who we thought was following us had gotten out of the passenger seat to pick up their vehicle somewhere. So it was like a driving Miss Daisy situation. And someone may have put the window down, and they may have threw that full bottle of Mountain Dew out of the car. And it may have hit the car that was closely following them when that vehicle may have been going in excess of 80 miles an hour on back roads in a rural part of Virginia. Some blue lights may have come on at that point, to which we learned it was not that friend, and it was one of our fine men in blue, who then proceeded to ask us what the hell was wrong with us. Then that friend who we thought was behind us proceeded to pass by and call the people in the vehicle, to which very nervously I said, I'm not going to reach for my phone, but that clucking that you hear is my cell phone, allegedly, which had a ringtone that sounded like a chicken clucking. Luckily, the constable that made the stop may have been dating the person that the driver had purchased the vehicle from, and knew this person. and took pity on the other person in the driving Miss Daisy seat in the car and let us go with just a warning. Allegedly, maybe. Yes.
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Allegedly may have happened in about 2003. So the statute of limitations may be gone.
I've brought this up a couple times on this podcast. Somebody on this podcast, and it's not Leon, but I'm not going to say who it is, threw up in my car. It was partly my fault because he told me not to buy him Jaeger, and I did. Threw up all over my car, the outside, the inside. But I've actually had a couple worse things happen. One, I had a friend of mine pull out some illegal narcotics without warning me or asking for permission or any of that. And allegedly, it wasn't weed or alcohol. Yeah. And y'all know me, I don't do any of that shit. I do drink. I've maybe allegedly tried weed a handful of times. All that other stuff is not for me. But I do think we were on vacation. So I think maybe this person was in vacation mode, and I think he's probably used to being in cars that don't have a problem with that. But yeah, that was one thing. I've had somebody cover my eyes in the car before. Yeah, they were drunk. Apparently,
when they give you a reach around.
No, it was family.
You can never count that out.
And then I did. Well, so there was another one with Chris, and he couldn't tell me how to get to his house one night. He was so drunk. And he actually, I don't say actually, I don't, because that sounds fucked up, but he had picked up a girl. And to this day, I don't understand why she just didn't take him to his house, but that's neither here nor there. She was following me, taking him to his house. Before he could even get in the car, he fell before he got in the car on his back. I had to help him in the car. He couldn't tell me how to get to his house. So we did about 3 U-turns. This girl is still following us. So that's a red flag, because if you watched any true crime documentary or any movie in the last 20 years, statistically, Chris was about to do something to this girl. She was not going to make it home.
Allegedly.
I mean, if you're like, yeah, come to my house, follow this guy, and then we keep turning around, like, oh, he can't find his house. Like, okay, I'll just keep following.
Her first mistake was dating Chris or seeing Chris.
Well, they never dated, but
you know what I mean.
So then we turn around the third time, and I'm like, oh my God, we're never gonna find this guy's house. And then we're driving. He's like, wait, that's my house. We just passed it.
Jesus Christ. Well.
Yeah, there's another one I just had in my head, but yeah, I forget. I had somebody egg the Wendy's drive-through while I was driving before.
Allegedly. We
may or may not have been egging houses as kind of one last hurrah to our childhood. So I stopped at Wendy's to get something to drink, and they egged the drive-through. Yeah.
Chris, quickly before we get out of here before the football game, do you have has someone done anything outside of what you do in your car, which Lord knows we don't want to know?
Have a crazy story. It is not my own. It is my father's story. My father, at my parents' house, they don't live in a great neighborhood. The house next door is rented out. And at the time, we're pretty sure they were crackheads. But allegedly. One day, the neighbor comes over, asks if my dad can drive her up to drop some money off with her son and then take her to the grocery store. My dad drives this woman to some crack motel off of Midlothian Turnpike over by Rosie's.
Allegedly.
No, this happened. My dad is sitting there waiting on her to take her money to her son. Whole task force rolls to my dad's window, asks what the fuck he's doing there. This is a prostitution sting.
Bro.
And my dad was like, I'm just helping my neighbor drop money off with her son. Apparently, it was her pimp. She got arrested. They told my dad to go the fuck home. And that is the worst story of all time from a passenger.
And that,
I've
ladies and gentlemen,
actually
is
got.
how Chris
I
lost his
actually
virginity.
Chris was in the car too. Chris was at the motel.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
No, my
I know
dad is
somebody
the
that got.
kindest, most oblivious human being in the world.
I know somebody that got caught in pretty much that same situation. Yeah.
Wow.
But they weren't so lucky to be let go. Yeah.
Tales from the honeypots. All right. On that note, we will conclude this podcast here, Scott. If you want to play us off of here, the Cowboys and the Giants load these 10 minutes away from starting. We are all on the New York Football Giants to get destroyed. Take Dallas minus the 5 points. And join us back here Saturday morning, 9 a.m. as we're doing lives on the
subscribe, like, share.
It's free. Just do it.
Chris,
Please.
I'll give you that guy's phone number later.
Peace.